The massive chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with its usual activity. Representatives from over 300 species filled the circular room, their bodies ranging from crystalline structures to floating gas clouds. The morning's agenda included standard matters: trade routes, diplomatic relations, and the eternal debate about proper gravity settings in shared spaces. Tom Wilson, Earth's newest representative to the Council, straightened his tie as he waited for his turn to speak. It was his first day, and he wanted to make a good impression. He wore his best Earth-made suit, polished shoes, and, like any sensible human, a pair of comfortable black cotton socks. The Council head, a tall being made of shifting blue light named Arkson, called the meeting to order. "Today, we welcome Earth's new representative," Arkson announced, its voice resonating through the universal translators. "Please, Representative Wilson, take the speaker's platform." Tom stood up and walked to the central platform, his shoes clicking against the metallic floor. As he moved, a peculiar thing happened. First, it was just one or two alien representatives who noticed. Then, like a wave, attention spread across the chamber. By the time Tom reached the platform, nearly every alien in the room had fallen silent, their various sensory organs fixed on his feet. Is everything all right?" Tom asked, looking down at himself self-consciously. A representative from the silicon-based Meridian Empire raised 3 of its crystalline appendages. "Honored Council, I request immediate clarification about the strange secondary skin layer visible between Representative Wilson's foot covering and primary leg covering." Tom blinked in confusion. "You mean my socks?" The chamber erupted in curious murmurs and excited translations. Several hover cameras zoomed in on his feet. "These socks," said a gaseous being floating near the front, its translator struggling with the new word. "Are they some kind of advanced temperature regulation technology?" "Well, yes, sort of," Tom replied, still amazed at the attention. "They help keep feet warm and absorb moisture." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. The Council head's blue light flickered rapidly, their species equivalent of raising eyebrows. "You mean to tell us," Arkson said slowly, "that humans have developed a personal microclimate management system for their walking appendages?" Tom fought back a smile. "It's really just fabric woven into a foot shape. Humans have been making them for thousands of years. They're quite simple." This statement caused even more commotion. A reptilian delegate stood up, its scales shimmering under the chamber lights. "Thousands of years. Your species mastered personal comfort technology before achieving spaceflight." "I wouldn't call it mastering," Tom said. "They're just socks. Everyone on Earth wears them. Well, most people, in most weather." The Council head raised all 4 of its light tendrils for silence. "Representative Wilson, would you be willing to show us these socks?" Tom glanced around the chamber, seeing genuine curiosity in every alien face, appendage, and energy field. With a slight shrug, he slipped off one shoe, revealing his plain black sock. The chamber's recording devices whirred and clicked. Several scientific advisors rushed forward with scanning devices. A holographic display appeared above the platform, showing a detailed analysis of the sock's fiber structure, weave pattern, and elasticity. "Remarkable," whispered a cloud-like being. "The simplicity, the elegance. And you say this technology is common on Earth?" asked Arkson. Tom nodded, suddenly realizing that his first day at the Galactic Council had turned into an impromptu sock exhibition. "We have thousands of varieties, different materials, patterns, thickness levels. Some have specific purposes, like sports or formal wear." The Council chambers filled with excited discussions. Representatives were already sending messages back to their homeworlds. The Council head had to flash its light tendrils 3 times to restore order. "I believe," Arkson announced, "that today's scheduled agenda will need to be postponed. Representative Wilson, the Council formally requests a comprehensive presentation on this sock technology. It seems we have much to learn from Earth's approach to practical innovation." Tom slowly put his shoe back on, wondering how he would explain to Earth's government that his first day at the Galactic Council had been derailed by his socks. Somehow, he suspected this was just the beginning of a very interesting diplomatic situation. The next day, Tom Wilson found himself standing in the Council's main presentation chamber. The room was packed beyond capacity, with some gaseous species condensing themselves to make space for others. Three-dimensional displays surrounded him, ready to project his presentation about socks to the eager audience. "Before we begin," Tom said, adjusting his collar nervously, "I should mention that I'm not actually a sock expert. I just wear them, like most humans." "Fascinating," called out a crystalline being. "You mean sock knowledge is so widespread that even your diplomatic corps possesses deep understanding of it?" Tom suppressed a chuckle. "Well, let me start from the beginning. About 10,000 years ago, humans started wearing animal skins on their feet for protection. Eventually, someone had the idea to create a softer layer underneath. The historical timeline appeared on the screens. Several alien scientists were frantically taking notes. The first socks were made from animal hair or plants, woven together," Tom continued. "Over time, we developed better materials and weaving techniques. Today, we use everything from cotton to synthetic fibers." A floating cloud of purple gas raised its communication tendril. "But surely such revolutionary comfort technology was reserved for your ruling class." Tom shook his head. "No, socks are for everyone. Most humans own multiple pairs. Some people even get them as gifts during holidays." The chamber erupted in astonished murmurs. The council head, Arkson, had to flash its light tendrils twice for quiet. "Please," Arkson said, "tell us more about these holiday sock rituals." Tom pulled up an image of Christmas stockings. "Well, in some cultures we even have giant decorative socks that we fill with gifts." He immediately regretted mentioning this as the excitement in the room reached new heights. A reptilian delegate rose from their seat. "Your species has developed ceremonial versions of this technology. The cultural implications are staggering." "It's really not that complicated," Tom tried to explain. "Look, I brought some samples." He opened a suitcase containing various types of socks: athletic socks, dress socks, warm wool socks, and even a pair of colorful socks with cartoon rockets on them. The scientific advisors nearly tripped over each other rushing to scan them. The holographic displays filled with detailed analysis of each type. "The variety," exclaimed a silicon-based being. "The adaptation to different circumstances. Notice how this thermal regulation technology has been modified for various environmental conditions." Tom watched as his simple sock collection was treated like the most advanced technology in the galaxy. The athletic socks with their moisture-wicking material caused particular excitement. "You mean to tell us," a crystalline scientist said, "that you've developed a passive system that actively moves moisture away from the walking appendage while maintaining optimal temperature?" "Well, yes," Tom replied. "They're great for sports." A small commotion broke out near the back of the chamber as a group of environmental engineers argued about the technical specifications of moisture-wicking fabric. "Representative Wilson," Arkson said, its blue light pulsing with interest, "would Earth be willing to share this sock technology with other species?" Tom thought about the countless sock manufacturers back on Earth who would be thrilled to expand their market to literally astronomical proportions. "I'm sure we can work something out, though we'd need to adapt the designs for different anatomies." The chamber filled with excited chatter again. Representatives were already discussing trade agreements and technology exchange programs. Some were arguing about sock import regulations, while others were debating the cultural impact of introducing socks to their societies. Tom smiled to himself as he packed up his sock samples. He'd never imagined that his emergency backup socks, stuffed in his suitcase at the last minute, would become Earth's most significant contribution to galactic society since joining the Council. As he left the chamber, he heard one alien scientist say to another, "To think, all this time we were focusing on faster-than-light travel, while humans were quietly perfecting the art of foot comfort." 1 week after Tom Wilson's sock presentation, Earth's communication channels were overwhelmed. The Galactic Council's broadcast of the revolutionary human comfort technology had reached every corner of known space, and the response was unprecedented. Tom sat in his office, staring at the endless stream of messages flooding his screens. Every major sock manufacturer on Earth had contacted him at least twice in the past hour. His assistant, an AI construct named Max, was struggling to categorize the incoming requests. "Sir," Max announced, "we've received another 5,000 inquiries about sock acquisition in the last 10 minutes. The floating clouds of Nexus 7 are particularly interested in what they call foot clouds." Tom rubbed his temples. "They don't even have feet. They're fascinated by the concept and want to adapt it for their gaseous appendages," Max explained. "Also, the crystal beings of Rigel have offered to trade 3 star systems for exclusive sock distribution rights in their sector." Before Tom could respond, his holographic display lit up with an emergency message from Earth's largest sock manufacturer, Global Comfort Industries. Representative Wilson, the CEO, appeared, looking frazzled. "We've had to shut down our website. We're getting millions of orders from across the galaxy, and our translation software can't keep up with all the anatomical specifications." Tom nodded sympathetically. "How's production holding up?" "That's just it," the CEO said, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "We've received design requests for everything from tentacle socks to plasma-based comfort wrappings. Our designers are having nervous breakdowns." Meanwhile, in various parts of the galaxy, the sock craze was reaching fever pitch. On the crystalline world of Lumina, fashion-conscious crystal beings were debating the proper way to display their newly acquired Earth socks. They couldn't wear them in any practical sense, but they had started a trend of carefully arranging them on pedestals as art pieces. The gaseous beings of the Nebula Confederation had taken a different approach. They were attempting to create sock-shaped force fields to contain small portions of their gas forms, claiming it made them feel more human-like during diplomatic meetings. Back on Earth, the situation was getting out of hand. Small sock shops found themselves receiving orders from distant galaxies. A family-owned sock store in Ohio had to hire a xenobiologist just to understand their customers' requirements. "Max," Tom said, watching the chaos unfold, "what's the current count on species requesting sock technology?" 4,217 distinct species, sir," Max replied. "Though the hive mind of Sector 8 counts as one request despite representing billions of entities." The holographic display buzzed again. This time it was Arkson, the council head. "Representative Wilson." Arkson's blue light flickered rapidly. "We need to call an emergency session. The sock situation has become complicated." "What's wrong?" Tom asked, dreading the answer. "Several species are threatening to withdraw from major trade agreements unless they receive priority sock access," Arkson explained. "The Quantum Collective is claiming sock technology should be classified as a fundamental right, and the space nomads are offering to reorganize their entire trade routes around Earth to ensure faster sock delivery." Tom looked down at his own socked feet, wondering how something so simple had caused such galactic chaos. "There's more," Arkson continued. "We're receiving reports of unofficial sock production in the Outer Rim. Some species are trying to reverse engineer sock technology, with unfortunate results." As if to illustrate the point, Max displayed a news report showing a group of tentacled aliens wearing what appeared to be badly knitted tubes, while their medical staff treated them for what they called inverse sock syndrome. "We need to establish some sort of system," Tom said, finally. "A way to manage this demand before it causes a diplomatic crisis." Arkson's light pulsed in agreement. "The council will convene in 1 hour, and Representative Wilson." "Yes. Please bring more sock samples. The council members have been quite insistent about expanding their personal collections." Tom looked at his rapidly emptying sock drawer and sighed. He had a feeling he'd need to go shopping soon. Very soon. The newly established Intergalactic Sock Design Center in Switzerland was unlike any building humanity had ever created. Its massive halls contained environments simulating every known type of alien atmosphere, allowing designers to test their creations in authentic conditions. In the liquid atmosphere testing chamber, Bob Parker, Earth's leading sock innovator, watched as a gelatinous alien tried on the latest prototype. The beam's translucent tentacles wiggled with apparent delight inside the specially designed hydro socks. "How's the moisture circulation?" Bob asked through the universal translator. The alien's body rippled happily. "Perfect. The internal currents match my natural flow patterns, though perhaps a bit more elasticity in the grip zones." Bob made a note on his tablet. Next to him, his alien design partner, a floating collection of geometric shapes called Loop, projected a holographic modification of the design. "If we adjust the fiber tension here," Loop suggested, geometric patterns shifting excitedly, "we could improve flexibility while maintaining the current flow dynamics." In another section of the facility, the plasma sock development team was making a breakthrough. They had finally created a magnetic weave that could comfort and contain plasma-based life forms without disrupting their natural energy patterns. "It's like a warm hug for my ionic structure," exclaimed a glowing plasma being, pulsing with joy inside its new magnetic sock field. The anti-gravity testing chamber was equally busy. Flying species from across the galaxy were testing sock designs that could adapt to their unique atmospheric requirements. A group of winged beings swooped and dove, their new aerodynamic socks streaming gracefully behind them. "The airflow is remarkable," one of them chirped, "and the temperature regulation during high-speed flight is outstanding." In the center's main conference room, Tom Wilson sat with the project leaders, reviewing the latest developments. The wall screens showed live feeds from various testing chambers, while holographic displays tracked satisfaction ratings from different species. The quantum species were particularly challenging, reported Dr. Lisa Green, head of theoretical sock physics. "We had to design socks that could exist in multiple states simultaneously, but the breakthrough came when we realized we could use uncertainty principles to our advantage." Tom nodded, still amazed at how far sock technology had evolved in just a few months. "And how's the progress with the energy beings?" "Fascinating results," Loop chimed in, its shapes forming excited patterns. "We've developed what we call quantum comfort fibers. They respond to energy fluctuations in real time. The energy beings are calling it a revolution in personal comfort management." The facility's eye assistant interrupted with an urgent message. "Priority alert from the crystalline species testing lab. They're reporting unprecedented success with the new resonance-harmonizing sock crystals." Everyone rushed to the crystalline chamber's observation deck. Inside, a group of crystal beings were testing socks that seemed to shimmer and pulse in harmony with their own crystalline structures. "The vibration synchronization is perfect," one crystal being chimed melodiously. "It's like wearing a second resonance field." Bob couldn't help grinning. Who would have thought our simple sock concept could evolve into something like this? "That's what makes it brilliant," Loop responded, its shapes forming a pattern that humans had learned to recognize as a smile. "The basic principle of comfort and protection remains the same. We're just adapting it to meet each species' unique needs." In the facility's research library, historians were already documenting what they called the Great Sock Revolution. The simple human invention had sparked an unprecedented era of innovation and cross-species collaboration. As Tom walked through the facility that evening, he passed by the Hall of Classic Designs, where a simple pair of cotton socks was displayed prominently in a protective case. Below it, a plaque read, "Where it all began. Standard human cotton socks, the innovation that changed the galaxy." A group of alien tourists was gathered around the display, their various sensory organs fixed on the humble exhibit with reverence. Tom heard one of them whisper to another, "To think, such a simple idea could bring so much comfort to so many different forms of life." Tom smiled, remembering how this all started with him just wearing a regular pair of socks to a council meeting. Sometimes, he realized, the greatest innovations weren't about complex technology at all. They were about taking simple, good ideas and sharing them with others. The emergency alarms at the Intergalactic Sock Design Center blared in the middle of the night. Tom Wilson rushed into the crisis management room, where holographic displays showed chaos unfolding across multiple sectors of the galaxy. "What's the situation?" he asked, finding Bob Parker and Loop already analyzing streams of incoming data. "Black market socks," Bob said grimly. "A group calling themselves the Comfort Consortium has been selling unauthorized sock designs. They're flooding the market with cheap knockoffs." Loop's geometric shapes turned dark colors of distress. "Reports are coming in from 17 sectors. These counterfeit socks are causing serious problems." The main screen showed footage from the crystal sector, where several crystal beings were experiencing dangerous resonance disruptions from faulty harmonic socks. In another sector, plasma beings were leaking energy through poorly constructed containment fields. "This is worse than we thought," Tom muttered, watching a group of gaseous aliens desperately trying to maintain their form in malfunctioning atmosphere regulation socks. The facility's eye assistant projected new crisis reports. Multiple diplomatic incidents reported. The hive mind of Sector 8 is threatening to sever ties with 3 neighboring systems over defective Mirror Link socks. The space nomads are demanding emergency sock inspections at all trading posts. Bob pulled up the analysis of a captured counterfeit sock. "Look at this. They're using inferior materials and ignoring basic safety protocols. These quantum comfort fibers are completely unstable." "Sir," called out Dr. Lisa Green, rushing into the room. "The situation in the Nebula Confederation is critical. Their knockoff gas containment socks are causing molecular dispersal issues. Some beings are literally losing their form." Tom looked at the chaos unfolding across the displays. The Comfort Consortium had clearly rushed their designs, caring more about quick profits than proper safety measures. Now the galaxy was facing its first major sock-related crisis. The holographic communicator buzzed urgently. Arxon's blue light form appeared, flickering with obvious concern. "Representative Wilson," Arxon said, "the Council is convening an emergency session. These sock-related incidents are threatening the stability of multiple sectors. We need Earth's expertise immediately." "We're already working on it," Tom assured him. "But we need to contain the situation first. Can the Council issue an emergency alert about the dangerous knockoffs?" "Already done," Arxon replied. "But we're facing a diplomatic challenge. Several species are accusing each other of deliberately spreading defective socks to gain competitive advantages." Loop's shapes formed a pattern indicating deep thought. "We need to implement some kind of authentication system, a way for users to verify genuine Earth-approved sock designs." "That's brilliant," Bob exclaimed. "We could embed quantum signature threads into all authorized socks, make them impossible to counterfeit." Dr. Green nodded enthusiastically. "And we could create a universal safety protocol. Standard testing procedures for all new sock designs, regardless of the species they're designed for." As they discussed solutions, more reports flooded in. The Quantum Collective was demanding an immediate recall of all unauthorized quantum state socks. The crystal beings had declared a sock-related state of emergency. Even the usually peaceful energy beings were threatening to destabilize local spacetime in retaliation for defective energy flow socks. "We need to act fast," Tom said, watching the crisis escalate. "Bob, start working on the authentication system. Loop, coordinate with our alien partners to identify and contain all counterfeit products. Dr. Green, I need you to develop emergency safety protocols." The team sprang into action. As Earth's sock experts worked through the night, Tom couldn't help but marvel at how something as simple as socks had become a matter of galactic security. The humble sock, which had brought so much comfort to the galaxy, was now at the center of an interstellar crisis. As he coordinated the response efforts, Tom remembered something his grandmother used to say about how losing one sock could ruin your whole day. He never imagined that bad socks could potentially ruin someone's entire molecular structure. 3 days after the counterfeit sock crisis began, the Galactic Council's main chamber was packed for an emergency session. Representatives from all affected species gathered to hear Earth's proposed solution to the sock crisis. Tom Wilson stood at the central platform, flanked by Bob Parker and Loop. Behind them, a massive holographic display showed the new safety measures they had developed. Distinguished representatives, Tom began, we understand the serious nature of this crisis. Earth's sock experts have worked non-stop to develop a comprehensive solution. Bob stepped forward, holding up what looked like a normal sock. We call this the Universal Safety Integration System, or USIS. Every authorized sock will contain these quantum signature threads. The holographic display zoomed in on the threads, showing their complex molecular structure. Loop's geometric shapes arranged themselves into a detailed technical diagram. These threads, Loop explained, are impossible to replicate without proper authorization. They adapt to the specific needs of each species while maintaining strict safety standards. A crystal being raised its glittering appendage. But how can we be sure these safety measures are sufficient? Tom nodded to Dr. Lisa Green, who activated another holographic display. We've established the Intergalactic Sock Standards Committee, or ISSC. This organization will include representatives from every species that uses sock technology. The display showed the new committee's structure, with different species contributing their unique expertise. The gaseous beings would oversee atmosphere containment standards, while the energy beings would monitor power regulation protocols. Additionally, Tom continued, we're implementing a galaxy-wide sock certification program. Every new sock design must pass rigorous testing before approval. The chamber buzzed with discussion as representatives considered the proposal. Arxon's blue light form pulsed thoughtfully from the council head's position. What about existing sock supplies? Asked a plasma being, its form flickering with concern. How do we identify the dangerous counterfeits? Bob activated a small device that projected a scanning field. We've developed these simple scanners. They can instantly detect genuine quantum signature threads. We're making them freely available to all species. To demonstrate, he scanned several socks. The genuine ones glowed with a green confirmation light, while a counterfeit sample triggered bright red warnings. But this is more than just about safety, Tom added. We want to share this technology properly. Earth will provide open access to basic sock-making techniques, while maintaining quality control through the ISSC. Loop's shapes formed an encouraging pattern. Several species have already offered valuable improvements to the original designs. The Quantum Collective's suggestions for stability enhancement have been particularly helpful. The chamber's mood began to shift from concern to optimism. Representatives from various species started discussing how they could contribute to the new standards committee. There's one more thing, Tom said, drawing everyone's attention back. We're establishing the Galactic Sock Innovation Exchange. This will be a place where species can share their sock-related discoveries and improvements safely and legally. The energy beings pulsed with approval. The crystal beings chimed harmoniously. Even the usually stoic space nomads showed signs of enthusiasm. Arxon rose from the council head's position. I believe we have a resolution before us. All in favor of implementing Earth's proposed sock safety measures and establishing the ISSC, please indicate approval. The chamber lit up with positive responses. Glowing tentacles raised, crystal appendages sparkled, energy fields pulsed, and various other alien appendages indicated overwhelming approval. As the resolution passed, Tom couldn't help but smile. What had started as a crisis was ending in unprecedented cooperation between species. The humble sock had not only revolutionized comfort across the galaxy, but was now bringing different species together in ways no one could have predicted. Bob leaned over and whispered, "Who would have thought socks would end up being such a powerful force for galactic unity?" Loop's shapes formed what humans had learned to recognize as a grin. Perhaps that was their true purpose all along, keeping the galaxy comfortable, one species at a time. 5 years after the Great Sock Crisis, Tom Wilson stood in the newly opened Museum of Intergalactic Comfort Innovation. The massive building, located in Geneva, Earth, was shaped like a giant sock and had quickly become the galaxy's most popular tourist destination. He watched as various alien species moved through the exhibits, each telling the story of how a simple foot covering had changed galactic society forever. "Quite a change from that first council meeting, isn't it?" Bob Parker said, joining him near the First Contact exhibit, which displayed a holographic recreation of Tom's original sock presentation. "Sometimes I still can't believe it," Tom replied, watching a group of crystal beings admiring their own species' contribution to sock technology, the resonance-harmonizing crystals that had revolutionized comfortwear for crystalline life forms. The museum's AI guide was leading a tour group of mixed species through the Crisis and Resolution section. And here we see the infamous counterfeit socks that nearly caused a diplomatic incident in the Nebula Confederation, it explained, pointing to a sealed case containing the dangerous knockoffs. Loop, now the head of the Intergalactic Sock Standards Committee, floated over to join them. Its geometric shapes formed pleasant patterns of greeting. "The latest statistics are in," Loop announced. "Sock technology has officially become the galaxy's most successful cross-species innovation. Even the time-flux beings are using temporal shift socks now." They moved through the museum, passing the Innovation timeline, which showed how sock technology had evolved. From simple cotton tubes to quantum-stabilized comfort feels, the progression was remarkable. Near the Cultural Impact section, a group of gaseous beings were watching a documentary about how socks had changed their society. Their sock-shaped containment fields glowed with different colors, a fashion trend that had become popular in the Nebula regions. "Did you see the latest trade reports?" Bob asked. "The sock exchange is now the galaxy's largest commercial platform. Even the space nomads have made sock trading posts their primary stops." Tom nodded. The Intergalactic Sock Exchange had indeed become the heart of galactic commerce. Species that had never traded before were now in regular contact, all because of socks. They reached the museum's newest wing, Future Innovations. Here, holographic displays showed prototype designs for even more advanced sock technology. One display demonstrated socks that could adapt to any species instantly, using advanced biomimetic technology. "Remember when we thought socks were just for feet?" Tom chuckled, watching a plasma being try on a new type of energy-containing sock that could change colors based on emotional states. The museum's central hall featured a massive holographic display showing real-time sock usage across the galaxy. Countless points of light represented billions of beings enjoying their species-specific comfort wear. "You know what's really amazing?" Loop's shapes formed thoughtful patterns. "It's not just about comfort anymore. Socks have become a symbol of how different species can work together, share ideas, and improve each other's lives." A small crystal being approached them, its structure glowing with excitement. "Are you really Tom Wilson?" it chimed. "The one who introduced socks to the galaxy." Tom smiled. "I just happened to wear socks to a council meeting. Everything that happened after was because species across the galaxy took a simple idea and made it their own." As they stood there, watching the diverse crowd of beings enjoying the museum, Bob summed it up perfectly. Humans might have invented socks, but the galaxy made them universal. In the museum gift shop, beings of all kinds bought commemorative socks designed for their species. A sign above the entrance read, "Comfort knows no boundaries." That evening, as Tom prepared to leave, he stopped by the museum's centerpiece, his original pair of black cotton socks, preserved in a quantum-stable display case. The plaque beneath them read, "Sometimes the simplest things can bring the greatest changes." These ordinary socks sparked an extraordinary revolution in galactic comfort and cooperation. Tom smiled, adjusted his own socks, and walked out into a galaxy that was forever changed by the most unexpected of human innovations.